There's nothing that's a saving in a house on fire. Could you stay a while?
Thanks everyone for downloading another episode of Three Different Dads with myself, Lorenzo, Tyler, and guest dad Scott. Scott, thanks for hopping in on us tonight on short notice.
It's really
Thanks,
a
Scott.
different dad tonight, since Jimmy's out pinch hitting.
Yeah. I do have to be 100% honest with you though. You were not the first dad I asked.
That's fine.
So
I'm very rarely the first choice.
I did ask George, but his exact text to me was like, "Oh man, I can't. I got a limo for my wife and I." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Limo.
For Valentine's.
All
Day.
right.
I'm like, all right, man.
All right, that's
Just a
legit.
limo, though. No follow-up activity to the limo.
Well, that's all he said. Is that, can you just imagine them driving around block for a few times?
Go around the block for 3 times.
They do have a new child now, so they got to save money. So maybe there's a short trip down to the beach and back.
Maybe a little DVD player in there. Put the DVD in, and
I tell you
This
what,
might be.
nothing is more awesome when you're a kid than a limo. I remember when I was a kid and my parents had a limo to go do something, and that was like the coolest thing I ever saw. Like, not only is it this giant long car, but there's all these cup holders, there's water, there's what appeared to me adult beverages, a TV, all this stuff. And then we got a limo. Where were we, Andrew? Oh, when we went to Disney for the first time, Andrea's parents got us a limo, and my kids were loving life. We got a limo to the airport, and I just remember, like, man, kids love limos. I mean, adults do too, but nobody loves a limo more than a kid.
I feel like the limo scene in the first Mighty Ducks like summarizes every kid's fantasy of a limo.
That's a
Right?
good
For sure.
point.
For sure.
So it's just like
That's a good point.
The visualization of it.
Yeah.
I think they kind of lose their luster as you get older, though. At least from my perspective, I
feel like when
that.
you're older, you're kind of like more like the party bus scene now. You get a party bus now, and that's kind of got some limo qualities to it, but for adults more.
I don't know if I've
Yeah.
ever. No, I was the only time I was on a party. I don't know if it was a party. No, that was a limo too for my bachelor party. But I don't think I've ever been on a party bus.
I've been on a party bus one time that like a real party bus. Like I've been on plenty like normal buses for like weddings that were supposed to be party buses, but they're just like a normal bus. But like Lindsay, we went to see his concert up at Pine Knob a couple years ago, and with Lindsay and a bunch of her friends from high school, and one of her friends, John, was like super excited about it, and he says, "Hey, I'm gonna provide like transportation for everybody." And lo and behold, this like party bus like shows up, and he just rented a party bus for the entire night for us. So I was like the only
That's
time
sweet.
I've been on one.
That's
Yeah.
that's nice.
We showed up
like
to the Chris Stapleton concert and with like people in the venue, party bus.
I think it's been a while since I've been on one, but I just remember having to go to the bathroom like really bad, and there were 20 people on the bus, and they're like, "We're not stopping," and I'm like, "We gotta stop! Like, we gotta stop! I gotta pee so bad," and they made me hold it for like an hour, and it was terrible.
Well, you're also the nicest guy. Like, you're probably just like, all right, you would probably be like, oh, I guess all right, I'll pee my pants.
I'll hold it. I'll hold it. Yeah. And I didn't remember that. I was just miserable for like just I had to go so bad. And then of course somebody else is like, I have to go to the bathroom. They're like, oh yeah, we'll pull right over. And I'm like, I hate you.
Find a girl
so much.
Usually, like when the girls need to go, they'll pull right over. And I'm like, oh, okay, while we're here.
It was I think it was a diaper party that I was at, and there were no females there, and it was just all dudes, and that was a mistake.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I feel like party buses, I think they're a dad thing after a certain age. I think like our age, I feel like we wouldn't get on a party bus, but then I feel like when our kids are like in their 20s or something, and they're like, "Hey, Dad, we got this party bus. We're gonna go do this thing." We're like, "All right, I'm in. Let's go." Let's go.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
But there's a big gap where it's like, nah, I'm good. I ain't going on a party bus.
Yeah, I think the comparison's like a dad's weekend in college. Like when your kids are old enough to go to college and there's dad's weekend.
Yeah.
One of my favorite stories was dad's weekend at OU. You know, Matt Hollinger is my roommate, and we all know Matt, right? And so his dad Barry is one of a kind. and we go to the Blue Gator, which is a local establishment there, and we go right up to the bar, and it's Barry first, then Matt, then me. The bartender takes the order, and Barry goes, "I need two pitchers of whatever." Bartender fills them up, and he's holding them.
Oh God.
Turns around, and we follow him, and
Yeah.
Barry turns back to us and goes, "Aren't you guys getting anything?" And just walks away.
That's awesome.
That's Barry, all right.
Oh my God.
Oh
No,
yeah.
that's a good point. Yeah. I think I am actually really looking forward to like parents weekend already. And yeah, I went out played trivia last night with some friends, and Mike Jacoby was there. Lorenzo, you know Mike, and
Yeah.
he brought Mason, his little kid, little son, like 3 years old, and I was joking around with him because we played trivia at a bar, that new sidelines in Perrysburg, and we were playing trivia, and I was like, Mason, you drinking beer tonight? Is that a beer? Like, because he had like fruit punch. And
Yeah.
he's like, yeah, this is my beer. And then I look at Mike, I was like, I can't wait till we get to drink with this kid, like when he's like 20, like 21 in college. I was like, we're gonna go down to every parents' weekend. Mike's super excited about that.
That's
So,
how I feel with our neighbors a couple houses down. They have kids. Well, they have a daughter who's Mateo's age, and then their oldest is about to be a freshman next year. But we in the summer, like we hardly ever see them in the winter, but we always see them in the summer. We'll hang out in their backyard. Probably now even more because they're gonna have a new pool. But we're always over there, just having a good time or whatever. Or they're at our house. We just have like impromptu fires or something on the weekend and cooking s'mores or something for the kids. I feel like eventually it's just gonna turn into like all of us, and then when our kids are of age, they're gonna be there too. Like just like, and we'll sit there and have the conversation like, when did this happen? Just like every old guy does, right?
yeah.
Yeah, speaking of like when does this happen? This is totally like a dad related thing. So for whatever reason, the other day I was thinking of the movie. I think it's called This is 40.
Yeah.
With Paul. Have you guys seen that movie?
Yeah.
Where the marriage is in a rut and all this stuff, and just the kids kind of occupy your time. And not to say this is my life or anything, but I remember there's two scenes that kind of like really resonated with me as I'm thinking about this movie. One was like when Paul Rudd like goes to the bathroom just to be by himself for an extended period of time, and then the other one was, and this was like, oh my God, it's me. Where he leaves. He says he's got work every night, and so he's out like every Wednesday night or something like that. And his wife thinks he's cheating on her, and so she follows him one night, and she walks in, and he's literally wearing a Baltimore Orioles jersey doing his fantasy baseball draft.
Yeah.
It's fantasy baseball is all I've been doing. I'm like, this really is 40 now that I'm old, because I just turned 38, right? So
Yeah.
it's like, well, it's the 40. I see what this guy's talking about now.
Yeah,
Sadly
man.
true.
We that is, and I always try to stress to Andrea, like get a hobby, like do something. Like right now, this thing that we're doing, this is an hour where the kids are upstairs getting ready for bed or whatever they're doing, but I just get to like hang out with friends, right? And we talk. Even we don't have to go anywhere. Like to me, this is fine, but it's like just be able to like do something else. And I think that's why in the other podcast, Nerdball podcast, check it out everywhere. That I have that question at the beginning, like, what are you into? What are you nerding out about? Because that's just something that gets you away. Because life can't be wrapped up. As much as I love my children and I do anything for them, I think there still has to be like that something for yourself. You got to be selfish in something sometime, even if it's an hour a day or 10 minutes a day, I think it's important.
Yeah.
Tyler, what do you
Amen to
do?
that.
What do you do?
I do nothing. No, I'm just kidding.
No, it's not.
I don't know. Like, I feel like a lot of my time, it's fantasy sports. So just finished fantasy football. I finished 4th overall in a league of 20.
You win money for that place?
Yeah, between
Usually.
between the regular season winnings and then the playoff winnings, I won $200, which
Nice.
is for 4th place ain't bad. So
Great.
first place wins close to 400, I think. But that's a fun league, honestly. Yeah, it's like 2 10-team divisions, and you take the top 6 teams overall, and then you redraft just for the playoff rosters. So that's always interesting because you're not only like, oh yeah, obviously Christian McCaffrey's great, but you have to ask yourself like, okay, how far are the 49ers going to go in the playoffs? Because You draft a guy that gets knocked out round 1, you're done with that guy. So, but yeah, fantasy sports, I think,
I feel like
and then
400.
spring.
I
Go
feel like
ahead.
$400 isn't enough for. I feel like it's a long. That's just a long time, and there's just not a lot of payoff for $400. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
I don't
mean, I
know.
guess
I mean,
you're doing it because you love to do
football.
it.
Yeah, football isn't bad though, because it's like you look at you draft once and then
Yeah.
you look at your roster once, maybe twice a week. That's
Yeah,
it. And then
yeah.
you're pretty much set it and done.
Yeah.
Fantasy baseball, different animal. That thing's a beast.
Full-time job.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was in a giant league, rotisserie league. One time I did it. My buddy talked me into it. It was $100, but it is every day doing something. I think we did one week, like weekly roster changes. Like you couldn't do it daily.
That's what yeah. So I was in a league that it just got disbanded last year, but yeah, I was in it for about 6-7 years, and same thing. Set your lineup before the first game on Monday, and no matter what happens, it's locked for the rest of the week. So that made it manageable. Years and years and years ago, I did like a daily one. I hated my life. Like it was
I killed it.
horrible.
We were in one for a while together, and I loved it, and I killed it because I love baseball, and I'll go in every day. I'll pick up
Oh, I
players.
love
I'll move people
baseball. You know
around and
me. I
stuff.
love baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the other thing I was gonna say I do in the side is, like the Mud Hens gig. So
Yeah,
cool development
MLB
is
employee now.
yes, I'm an
Yeah.
MLB employee. I got to go down to Houston. That was a fun trip. Got
Oh,
to
would you go down
meet
there
a
for?
bunch of uh
Like training or what?
yeah, it is training. So every year I learn this. Every year who is it? The Houston Astros owner, or one of like the minority owners. I don't know who it is, but so one of those guys is affiliated with like a D2 baseball program.
Mm-hmm.
And so every year they hold like a little mini, like early season playoff, like not even playoff, but just like, invitational. So there were like, I think there were 6 teams in this thing, and they just played random games, like round robin games for a weekend. So MLB though, they use it as training because they're always training more people and doing stuff. So yeah, we were showing up to Minute Maid Park every day and just clicking buttons for baseball games. So
There was a bunch
But-
of a bunch of things, new things that are coming out. I was getting a bunch of notifications today from on Bleacher Report about all the things, or what people are saying about like the bigger bases, and they're going to really police balks and the pitch clock and a lot of stuff.
there's a lot of changes this year. I'm just excited because for me, minor league baseball, they finally get, at least for the Toledo market, they'll have it's called ABS, which is auto ball strikes, which is, it's basically, everybody's familiar with Hawkeye for tennis. It's that for baseball. So it can track everything. Like you want data on something, it picks it up. But for my job, it literally tells you where the pitch locates on the little screen that I implement the plays on, and so makes my life a lot easier. So
is it
tells you.
like, are the Mud Hens going to have like the robotic ball strikes? The umpire's not going to call it anymore.
No, they'll still have umpires in AAA, from my understanding. At least I think in the Toledo League.
Strikes.
Yeah, but I think they'll have like the
Replay,
guys
right?
will be able to. Yeah, the guys will be able to challenge calls, from my understanding. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure
I think you're right, because I think they were trying it out either in lower levels or in some college.
they were
'cause I
already
remember
trying
seeing
it out
video.
in the fall leagues.
Yeah.
I saw it in the Arizona
Independent
fall
leagues last
leagues.
year had it too.
Yeah, and there were some parks that had it last year. Charlotte, I think, had it. They were the only like AAA on the East Coast that had it.
Okay.
But I think a lot of the Pacific Coast League teams had it last year. But anyway, there's a ton changing. The shift stuff, that'll be crazy, because like you can challenge shift violations. I've learned, and again, some of these rules don't carry over into the minors, so like there's just a lot to know. But the shift violation thing will be super interesting, because like you have to be, like they're drawing a line basically off of second base, to my understanding.
Yeah.
Your player can be outside of the line, but then at the pitch they can run in, like to basically mimic a shift, but they're gonna like, so I just feel like that's not. I don't see that happening a lot because your second base and shortstop, they're just gonna be tired. Like, wouldn't that be tiring? Or is it
They're
just
exerting a
me?
lot of energy.
Like
Yeah.
to constantly be moving to like shift a guy, and
You
you have
think
to like
they're,
run positions.
they would adjust like their pre-pitch read and stuff too with
Yeah, I just don't see that. I don't know. I feel like it's just gonna go back to old school baseball before the shift. I could be wrong. I'm sure I'm wrong. I'm sure it'll be crazy out there where guys are moving all the time. But
Well, now
so
you'll get
that'll be interesting.
lefties who make millions and millions of dollars because they don't have a third guy over there that can.
Yeah, because they don't. Yeah,
Which
they don't have
Scott
to.
knows all too well.
Chris Davis come back out of retirement.
He could.
Orioles own like 140 million, so why not? I mean,
Well, I guess for him, you still have to be able to put the ball in play to be able to get a.
you can't just strike out all the time.
Yeah.
Touché.
Did just get a text in from Jimmy. He says, "Good luck tonight. I hope the show sucks." So, and then he said,
Thanks,
"Oh,
Jim.
I'm sorry. I meant I hope the show doesn't suck." So, I don't know which one he actually means. So Jimmy normally does a "Do We Care" segment, but I don't have anything because normally I don't do it. Now the one thing, I mean, we also just use it about the news. Have you guys seen the videos and photos of that train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio?
Yes.
I've not seen any of this.
Yes.
You have not, Tyler. Can you share your screen? Because for whatever reason, whenever I do it, it messes up. It doesn't work right. So there was a train
yes.
derailment in East Palestine, which is, I believe, closer to the
right, so
Pennsylvania border.
This will be a good thing just to show Scott like what we're talking about. Hold on, let me try and share.
I just allowed it
Screen
for
this
you.
one.
So
Cool. This is the first thing that pops up are these dudes in gas masks. So this kind of gives you an understanding of what's going on. But yeah, there's a train derailment, and let's just click images.
it was like full of like chemicals and stuff.
Oh my gosh,
dude,
well,
it's crazy.
So yeah, so okay, here's a good one.
Like a
this
bomb
is
went
the
off.
train derailment. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the outcome was basically like, I guess they determined based off the chemicals, and this was obviously on fire. That's what this big one is.
Yeah.
Somebody made an executive decision that the best way was to let this burn. Like
and not even that. Like, yeah, it was burning, but they also burned it more. Like they
did a controlled burn off of the chemicals, which somebody told me the other day, like like the chemicals like gave off. Did you hear this, Lorenzo? Like, what were the chemicals giving? Like,
I don't know,
like
but
shit that in science class you wouldn't want to breathe in.
It could create like
equivalent.
I heard people saying it could create acid rain. They actually had a list of chemicals initially, and then that list was wrong. That there was actually like chemicals on there that they did not list, or maybe they did on purpose or not. I don't know. There was one picture. I don't know if you can scroll down, Tyler, if you can see it. There was one picture from kind of far away, and it looked like a movie. And there was also one from an airplane, but I don't know if we'll be able to find that.
I don't know. Yeah,
but
it was so many crazy photos.
Yeah,
it looked like this is just terrifying. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That looks like a freaking bomb. Big ass bomb went off.
Yeah, I don't. If you do, well, I guess did you do? It doesn't matter. We're already there anyway. But yeah, there was one. It was I don't know what the picture was or whatever, but it looked like that big plume of smoke going in the air, but then in the clouds it was like a big black circle, like I don't know, it just like right there, there it is.
Oh my gosh, look at that.
Yeah, that looks like a nuke bomb.
Yeah, I was gonna say that looks like Japan circa like what 1940.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah, dude, it's
45.
It's crazy.
45.
Yikes.
Yeah,
yikes,
man.
Yikes. Yeah, those are. So that's what we're talking about. So that's a do you care? And I think that's a
we
do
all
you
care.
Yeah, I think we care because that was crazy shit right there.
Dude,
you know what the first thing that popped in my mind about that was like do I care? Yeah, I do, because the first thing that popped in my mind is if that happened during the school day, what would I do with 850 junior kids?
Yeah, and then what do you do with them the subsequent days when that stuff is happening.
Yeah, that's the first thing popped in my mind. Was
Like,
like,
how do you, like, I'm assuming you guys plan for emergencies and plan for
yeah, we do. That's what we're doing right now.
right catastrophes, and I'm sure there's even times where you guys are like, okay, what if this happens? And some people, like, if let's just say you're at an all Ohio conference, whatever, I don't know if those exist or not, and someone brings up something and you're like, what do you mean? What do you mean trail derailment where they have to how these chemicals are, like,
Dude, like it's funny because we just went through like in-house PD training, like administrative wise, for like a reunification plan.
yeah,
And one of the examples they had talked about, these presenters talked about, like implementing something like this would be a trail derailment with a chemical spill.
Really?
Yeah, that's one of the, like the real life examples they use. And like there's a bunch of trains going in and out of Perrysburg all the time, right? So like this is something that could happen in Perrysburg. Like I don't know what these trains are carrying in Perrysburg, but
yeah.
could.
Gluten.
Bad stuff is the answer.
Sorry,
my dad's a train engineer, and he tells me all the time. He's this like that's the example of what he was telling me before. He's like, yeah, there's chemicals that you don't want them to get spilled, and so there you go.
Yeah, I remember it wasn't your dad, it was somebody else. But I asked that I was talking to a train conductor one time and asked him how many times a train he was on gotten derailed. He said, I don't know, it's hard to keep track.
Oh gosh.
That's a good one. Dude, that was a good one. That was perfect.
That was a good one.
Thank you.
That was good. That was good.
Damn it. I am not, dude. That was a really good one.
You brought the whole train thing on just so you can run that joke, didn't you?
No, 100%. I did not. 100%. We're going through it. You're talking. You're like, you know what? I'm just going to Google dad train jokes, and I did not do that from the beginning. No, I did want to talk about the train derailment, but that was
so many of them. Yeah, so many of them go off on their own topics and tangents just to lead to like a shitty joke. That was
this was not.
That was perfect.
Well played. Well played. Since I'm in on the show, I don't get a vote. So now it's really between Teresa and George.
Interesting thing though about train derailments. So my dad filled me in on this portion. So it does happen often, he told me. What's interesting to me is, so if you live like right off of a train track and a train does derail and like there's a car or something that gets derailed and sits on your property, those cars are so heavy that I've learned this is what they'll do when a train derailment happens. They will literally just basically bulldoze and knock the trains off of the track just to get the track to a point where they can repair it, just so they can reopen the train lines. They will then pay the person that car sits on basically like money every month to just let the train, like the thing, sit there, because my dad said it takes sometimes like 6 months, a year before they will actually like come and get the car off of the person's property. Like, because I guess obviously train derailments happen more like, in remote locations. So it's cheaper for them just to pay the person like a monthly fee to just leave that shit sitting on their property.
What is that fee, do you think?
He like, said, what would you want
if you were a homeowner? What's that?
If Scott? I'm thousands of dollars a month, and he said they pay it, like it's a lot. Like
at least my monthly mortgage.
Yeah, the train companies make so much money, they just like they don't care and they just pay it. And it just blew my mind. I'm like, it is cheaper for them to do that than to move the car, like because they have to bring in like an industrial like crane, and because these cars are millions of pounds.
That's crazy.
So, yeah. Anyway, it's not as good as your train joke, but your train dad joke.
Well,
it's interesting. Huh?
You're like Tyler. You're like on the green screen. Also, like your head just like floats.
Yeah, it's Michael Scott's.
It's because I was actually I was meeting.
Actual, like, room.
I had some actual work meetings today on Zoom, and sometimes I let me put my non-blurred background.
It's not even blurred. Oh, that's what you normally do.
That's blurred. That's what I normally
I've
do.
never seen that.
That's my closet.
I thought that was like your actual house. That's not your actual house.
Nope.
No.
No. Well, this is my actual
But
house.
yeah, I mean, but like what I saw before, that's
For a long time, yeah, for a long time. So that the background you just saw is the office background.
never
That's
seen the
Michael
office.
Scott's. That's
Uh,
Michael Scott's office. And for a long time, a lot of my coworkers, colleagues, they thought that that was my office. They're like, "Oh, I thought you had like a nice office." I said, "No, this this is the office." Like, and they were also people that didn't watch The Office that didn't
and
appreciate
then
it.
you show them your actual office, and it's your blurry closet.
And it's my closet. Like I can close that door and it doesn't look as bad, but I'm always in and out of that closet, so I never close the closet door. So
You're actually in your closet right now.
no, I'm in like this little like offset. So like it's my bedroom and then it leads to the bathroom and there's a closet behind me. So it's I feel like this would have had like not a vanity, but like a little area for ladies to get ready.
Yeah.
Like there's this little cutout area and it's like
Uh,
worthless. So I just put a desk there and it works for me. So
now,
anyway.
question is your lady friend there? Because she's always there when we're recording. I feel like.
Yeah, she's there.
She is here tonight
Okay.
because we went
Where'd you guys go?
we went to Souk, which have you ever
Oh.
been to Souk?
I have not. No.
Dude, it's good. It's
Yeah.
awesome food.
What is it?
Yeah.
Soup?
It's Mediterranean, like it's downtown Toledo, so it's
Yeah.
a block or two from the ballpark basically.
I've heard. I tell
Uh,
you, my dad went there not too long ago. Said it was really good.
It's very good. I'm not joking. It's awesome food. So highly recommended if you guys go. And it's a good place to bring your ladies. So I'm sure they'll appreciate it. It's really good food. Really good food. Cannot understate it enough.
So
We should get them as a sponsor for this.
good. So Tyler's in a different phase. I probably still the courting phase right now. But Lorenzo, you've been married, so Valentine's Day was today. I mean, what's the routine with you and Andrea?
So
Valentine's
yesterday, just to cover my
already did?
bases.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yesterday, just to cover my bases, I said, I'm making dinner or we're in the kitchen. I go, Andrea, did you get me anything for Valentine's Day? She said, no. I said, okay. And then, so we don't do anything for Valentine's Day. Now, I told Andrea that I texted George that also. And I said, and I told him, well, that's where our love's at right now. And she was offended. I go, what? Clearly it was a joke. I was been laughing the whole time we told you. Yeah, she goes, yeah, but does he know that? I go, yeah, we're just joking around. We haven't celebrated Valentine's Day in a long time. I mean, we just went on vacation a month ago to Florida. So
That's true.
that was good enough for us. But yeah, I mean, if anything, it might just be flowers or something, but no, we haven't done anything in a while. What about you, Scott?
Pretty similar. I got Lindsay flowers on a card this year. Got the girls like toys, cards. They like opening presents. We don't do a whole lot either.
My kids always get stuff from my mother-in-law and my mom. My mom loves holidays, so she decorates her house for every holiday outside. Like she always has lights. So there's like these heart-shaped lights on the outside of her house on her, like hanging on the light poles or whatever. But they always get stuff from their grandma. But that's how my grandma was too. Like we always got stuff for every holiday from my grandma. But yeah, I don't know. I just
the grandma handshake with the money in it.
My grandma did that. My grandma did that. I think the last time I got money from my grandma, I think Mateo was like 6. Like, all right, grandma, why don't you just give? I had to like start telling her. I was like, just give it to him, and it did get less and less. That's just because my mom, when my grandma, was around doing her own thing, it was always 20s. Like, here's a 20, or here's a couple 20s. Go put some gas in your tank, that kind of stuff. But then as she got older, she had less and less money, so it was always like, here's a 5, have this 5 or whatever. And after a while, I'm like, grandma, just give it to Mateo. Like, I'm an adult, I got a job, I'm good. You give it to your great grandson. But yeah, it was a lot of those.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
There was another catastrophe. Jim's right. So I did the Google News, and it is depressing. He's like that's why he moved on to. Didn't he say he moved on to like science stuff or something?
He did, because the news is depressing.
Yeah, they talk about the China balloons. They talk about what happened at Michigan State. They talk about people in the earthquake at Turkey. Like, it is very depressing stuff.
I tell you what, I will give this podcast credit though. A few episodes back, you guys talked about Chat GPT, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the first I'd heard of it.
Oh,
And since then, I took that knowledge back to my colleagues, many of which have never heard of it either. And now,
See,
all their
dude, I'm telling you.
say it again.
Yeah.
Scott.
so we've had some good professional conversation dialogue about Chat GTP, and we've even played with it to see. And I gotta, send this email to all the parents. Yeah, what could
Yeah.
Chat GTP create for me? So it's been an interesting tool. And like, so
would-
people, where'd you hear about this? I'm like, well, there's this podcast.
Did you really tell him you heard it from our podcast?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I'm
That's
trying to give
awesome.
you guys some credit here.
Just three knuckleheads.
Yeah. Credit, So like most people at school now know who you are, Lorenzo, obviously for a lot of different reasons. But name drop Tyler and Jimmy too. So
Nice. Well, I
Oh,
appreciate
sweet.
it.
Get my cloud up. That's great.
What one of our other listeners, George S, says Tyler is his favorite of the three of us. So
I appreciate that. That was a little pick me up.
he does when we text each other, he's like, he has mentioned a couple times, like Tyler's like sneaky funny to where like he is funny, but it's when I'm least expecting it and it just like hits me over the head with
It's comedic timing. It really is.
you're just a gem.
Intentional.
No, I was just trying to find non-depressing news, and I mean this isn't even like newsworthy, I don't think, because it's basically saying like flowers are more expensive this year because of inflation. I feel like duh. Like, come on.
We could talk about the Super Bowl. Did you guys watch the Super Bowl?
Yeah, let's talk about the Super Bowl.
Did you make
any
bets?
Thoughts? I did. Dude, all right. So let me outline the bet and you would just say, would you make this bet?
Okay.
So I did a couple different versions of this prop bet, but the cleanest version was Travis Kelce to score, Miles Sanders to score, Isaiah Pacheco to score. Would you make that bet? Like,
yeah,
feel pretty good about it?
I think so, but I had Miles Sanders in a parlay of mine, and then he didn't play like the whole first quarter.
I know. Don't get me started. And then he wasn't getting any of the carries inside of like the 5 either.
Yeah.
So needless to say, that parlay did not pay out, and I was crushed because like Travis Kelce got a touchdown right away. Pacheco got a touchdown like in the second quarter or third quarter. I was like, oh, this is like just get in the end zone. But that's how it always is with the parlays, I swear. So
Scott, did you partake in any Super Bowl bets?
And I've not got into the sports betting yet.
Okay.
So I've been interested.
Yeah.
Been curious with that. Just haven't pulled the trigger and done any yet. So listen to you guys, quite a bit talk about it. Some colleagues at work talk about it as well. There's a lot of free money out there right now.
Yeah.
The free money, I would say if you're thinking about it, just wait until football season to get your free bets because there's so many just fun / stupid bets, and they always give you like these boost odds. So yeah, like throughout the playoffs, they're fun. So
I bet they hand out, now that football's over, I bet they hand out more free money now to try to, because I'm assuming most of their betting comes from NFL. So I bet they try to still attract people.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
They probably get a lot of betting for college basketball, though. I bet
it goes up in March Madness.
March Madness. Yeah.
Is there a lot of betting on baseball? I mean, other than
if it's a sport, there's betting on it. I can't bet on baseball. I learned that. I had to take a training for MLB. So
we were asking you about that.
Yeah, I am banned from baseball.
Betting.
They're gonna Pete Rose my ass.
You can play fantasy baseball. Can you play fantasy baseball as an employee?
No, you're not allowed. Well, you can play fantasy, but not for money. So that's like the league I was in. The league I was in last year. That was partly why it got disbanded. Was they changed like the rules or whatever, and there was a couple guys that did MLB games like up in Detroit, and they shut the league down. They're like, "Up, we can't do this anymore." So that kind of sucked because we were doing it for a couple of years, and everybody's just like, "Oh, walk away, see ya." I was like, "That sucks." So,
I won a couple bets. So I bet Kansas City when they were down by 10.
Oh, you were smart. Dude,
Yeah,
I
it
looked
was
at that line at halftime. It was plus 320. And I was like, I should just throw $50 just to see if they. Oh,
I bet
sickening.
it was
Sickening.
mine was plus 240. I bet $20. I won $68. And then I hit a five part parlay.
You did.
Yeah.
What was it?
Travis Kelce anytime touchdown, Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown, Travis Kelce 70 plus yards, Dallas Goedert 40 plus yards, and Juju Smith Schuster 25 plus yards. And it was plus 973, and I only put $15 on it, but I won $160. So
That's sweet.
yeah,
That's sweet.
Good bet,
Yeah.
those.
See those are like, to me, that's fun. It's like you're not throwing around a lot of money, but you can win a decent chunk of change. Like, to me, that's fun.
Also, I like those because I mean, I pay attention to the Super Bowl anyway, but like it's those things where you need individual players to do something. So like every pass play, like, oh, just get it to Kelsey, or when the Eagles had the ball, is it a pass to Goddard? Like I just like all these things. You're focused on these things, and to have two of those knocked out after the first two drives also was nice because Kelsey scored and then Jalen Hurts scored. I'm like, oh man, this is awesome. And then you always
I wanted
think,
to see.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna. The one bet I wanted to see like what the odds were prior to the Super Bowl was like, you know how like they have multipliers for touchdowns. So I wonder what the plus was on Jalen Hurts 3 touchdowns. And I also wonder, did anybody put money on that? Because the fact he scored 3 was crazy.
Well, that's what I was just gonna say. You always think about those ones that like you throw money at or whatever. I think I threw $10 at Miles Sanders getting a rushing and receiving touchdown, and it was like plus 3,100 or something like that. You know, so people throw money at those things. So I'm assuming that they were pretty high odds.
Oh yeah. Did you? I mean, I think it was just It was last week, well, no, it would have been two rounds ago. Whatever. So there were 4 total games played. Some guy threw $5 or $10 on successfully got the first touchdown score of all 4 games. Did you see that? Like,
yes, I did.
I think he threw $5 or $10 on it, and he won like $90,000. It was crazy. But again, there's a reason you're winning 90,000 because that bet never pays.
I saw
Anyway.
I saw a guy bet the exact score of the Cavs Spurs game last night. He bet and he got it. It was like plus 26,000. He only put down like $2 and won a couple $100 or something. But the exact score of 119 to 107. And he got it, he said, from an episode of Seinfeld from 1991 where I don't know what it was, but they showed the clip. And I don't know if they were talking about betting or they're just talking about the score. And they said Cleveland 119, San Antonio 109. And
interesting.
And 2 years ago, these two teams played, and that was the same score then too. 2 years ago.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy. So, what did you guys think of the Super Bowl itself, though? Good game, bad game?
I liked it. It was awesome. Yeah.
Honestly, I didn't even watch any of it. I didn't see
none of it.
No?
What were you doing?
What were you doing?
It's just life happens, I guess.
So, say no more.
Yeah, so I didn't see anything. So I woke up like 11:30, saw the final score, and I watched the 7-minute condensed game on my app the next morning.
Oh yeah, YouTube always does a really good job of highlights. They're usually about 10 to 12 minutes. But yeah, I thought it was good. We went over my in-laws. I smoked some chicken wings and pork loin, and then they had some food over there too. And we were there probably till about 9, and then came home and finished watching it here. The kids went to bed. But I thought it was good. I thought the halftime show was good. I enjoyed the halftime show.
It was okay.
I saw a TikTok though, and it put it in perspective. So she was pregnant. In the whole show,
who did the halftime show?
Rihanna.
It was good. It was good. It was just I'm
Yeah.
I'm biased because I was like, how do you follow last year's with Dr. Dre and Snoop
Sure.
and Eminem?
That's
Like,
good.
yeah, that's a hard follow. So
They all got. I think they all have to be independent of each other. I think it's like, you know, if you go to a country concert and then the next month you go to a rap concert, you're like, well, it wasn't as good. You're like, well, they're completely two different things. The only thing is that the only is the same is that they're at the Super Bowl.
yeah.
But anyway, I saw this TikTok where they said, and like her set list, they went down her set list, and basically it was like from her like before she had kids, and then like getting with somebody, having a kid, and being a strong independent, like all this stuff, and it made sense with like the titles of all the songs. And then even the show that she put on was like basically going from like conception to being pregnant, because at the beginning she was by herself in this red apparatus suit, up in the sky by herself, and then she came down amongst all these white coated gentlemen, and we're all together. So they're saying like that's the sperm and the egg, and then they were all together doing stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm
I
telling
didn't
you,
know it got that deep.
when they showed, and then at the end it was just her again, you know, being pregnant. But it obviously I didn't think about it when I was watching it, but when I saw this TikTok, I was like, man, that's pretty crazy. If it's real, that's crazy. Also, if it's not real and someone's making it up, it's very coincidental.
They did their homework, yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't a TikTok. I just saw a GIF of it was the what was it? Oh my god, I'm forgetting now. It was Willy Wonka's little guys in white suits, like the Munchkin guys.
Yeah.
I sorry, that was funny. I thought it was hilarious.
What
It made
was
me
your,
chuckle.
do you guys remember um your favorite Super Bowl you've ever watched?
Well, yeah, I mean,
Probably, I would imagine probably one that you won, right?
Super Bowl 31 when Packers, won
Some
it.
of us haven't been in the Super Bowl, so this is a terrible question.
Right.
I didn't
My
say one
favorite,
that your team
yeah,
won.
I
I just said
know.
your favorite. Yeah. Wait, hold on,
I think
hold on.
go ahead.
Scott,
Yeah, Scott first.
Besides the fact that they won, like, is there like more like anything memorable about it, or
Yeah,
is it just like they won?
I mean, obviously, like Lorenzo, you probably know him a little bit more than Tyler, but like Green Bay's a special place for our family, and my mom, grew up there, lived across state with my dad there in Green Bay, so Green Bay's a special place, and when they won, we had all our family over, so my grandparents on both sides were there for it, and it was kind of like a family thing, so that was. That and then it was a unique moment because Green Bay hadn't been good for a lot of those years since the Lombardi '60s, and they got back, and it was kind of like the resurgence of the Packers.
Mm-hmm.
It was just from a family standpoint, just kind of special piece of it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's for sure. That's why.
How when was that? Sorry.
That was 96, 97.
Okay.
96 in 97, January 97, I believe.
So we're sixth grade, seventh grade, sixth grade. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, Tyler, what about you?
That was so long ago. What was mine? Mine was probably I went to Super Bowl party. Mike Jacoby again. He has a Super Bowl party every year, and I end up at his house. And lately, it's just been me at the Super Bowl party. Like, there's no party.
Is that a party?
I don't. We joke. Like the last couple of years, we've gotten serious about it. Like we got this year. I brought over like swigs, and it was really good. But anyway,
I
it
lived
was
down
years
the
ago.
street.
Huh?
Unbelievable.
I should have invited you. Well, it's not my house to invite you, so I'm sorry.
Mike, unbelievable. He was even on my podcast.
He was on the podcast. I'll give him shit next year.
No,
I'll just tell you. Yeah, I know.
Have him invite me so I can tell him no.
Okay, I'll do that. What was it? The Tom Brady Super Bowl, obviously there's multiple, but it was the one that they were playing the Falcons. Mike's party, that was probably the year he had the most people over. There's probably 20 people at his house. Everyone went home at halftime,
Sure.
and I'm like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm just gonna watch. I mean, I'm here. I'm gonna watch the Super Bowl. And it was the coolest like comeback Super Bowl I've ever seen, and I don't know. So to me, that was probably the best one I've seen
Because
it's most memorable.
Go ahead, Scott.
There's another Super Bowl moment I have is the New England Philly special Super Bowl.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that was a
The
great
only
one too.
reason because so Lindsay and I are married at this point in time, is like 3 weeks before the Super Bowl, we did one of those like furniture deals where if you buy a piece of furniture and if it snows 3 inches on Super Bowl Sunday, you get it for free. And we're like, why not? So
Yeah.
we bought a new couch, and then like it got close to the Super Bowl, and like they're forecasting the snow. And we're like, oh my gosh! So I'm telling everybody at work, like if it snows 3 inches on Super Bowl Sunday, we're gonna get this couch for free. And I think it snowed 3 inches, and it snowed like 2.8. I was like,
Oh
Oh.
damn, damn.
I tell you what though, that was plenty enough snow for me to have to work that Sunday because I remember that. I think there was that Super Bowl, and whenever the Seahawks threw an interception in the end zone.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh,
I was
yeah.
working that Super Bowl too. So that always sucks. Tyler, do you just claim Tom Brady's Super Bowls as your own since Cleveland has never been in one?
No, I just appreciate greatness, I think, and I don't know if I'll ever see something like that again in my lifetime. I mean, the Chiefs are damn, they I don't
Who
see
knows?
them
Yeah.
faltering anytime soon, but
got a shot. I tell you,
yeah,
I'm with you, Tyler. Every time Tom Brady was in the Super Bowl, I was rooting for him.
yeah,
You know who doesn't like
it's hard
greatness?
not. I don't know. Jim.
You know,
Jim hates
Jimmy.
greatness.
Jimmy hates
Yeah.
greatness.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Hates
all the
it.
time. Why does he hate greatness? He hates LeBron James, right? Like, why?
Dude,
Jim,
I was losing my mind. Man.
that was only on LeBron. Jim will have a conversation with you about why he says white Jesus is better than Michael Jordan. That one I really struck, and he'll throw stats at you.
White Jesus.
His
that
boy
Luca.
No, Luca.
What?
Don't
Jimmy
get me
is
started.
Jimmy is such
He's-
the irrational fan. It's
Jimmy is the homer. He is a homer.
Dude,
like
yeah.
when it comes.
yeah.
Oh, I meant to, I wanted to ask you this, Lorenzo. Did you find it funny at all today when he said he couldn't podcast? When wasn't the reason we couldn't podcast last night because he was going to the Mavs game for Valentines Day?
Yes, that's
Did
what
you
I
find
thought.
that odd?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Also,
They were
if
talking shit, but
if we were more popular and I could sell a t-shirt, I would sell a shirt that says Jimmy's quote when I asked him, do you think LeBron's great? And he goes, I think LeBron is a very good player. And that's when I could have shut my computer.
oh,
LeBron is a very good player. What
You may
the-
think Troy Aikman's the greatest quarterback ever played. Think play the game.
Probably. I don't know. I mean, he does switch teams. He used to like Ohio State. Now he likes Penn State.
Yeah, I picked up on that. What happened there? I didn't know
because he
I
got
feel
his.
like he's going back to Ohio State though. Did you
Well, he
get
got his
that vibe at all?
degree. He finished his degree at Penn State, so he feels like
Oh, I didn't know
he goes. I gave him money, so I feel like I should root for him. I was like, I don't know,
That
man.
makes
That's
sense.
pretty
I
bad
get
trade. That's pretty bad trade though.
I get that. I always kind of like Tyler. You went to BG, right?
Yep.
So let me ask you this question. So I know you're a big Michigan fan. So if BG played Michigan
Next year.
say, like
They play next year.
okay in football, right? Who do
Yep.
you root for, BG or Michigan?
I'll root for Michigan. that's
that
just
always-
how I am.
That always like perplexes me. Like you went to a university and then but like you grew up a fan of another school, but you went to this other university, but you'll root against the school that you went to. That always
I feel like I'm a prime example of though, like I went to college because I just really just wanted the degree. Which is not the right reason probably to go to college, but like I just wanted the piece of paper. I truthfully like I probably would have went anywhere. I just don't feel as tied, I guess, to Bowling Green. And I know it's different for different schools and stuff, but like for whatever reason, I just don't. So,
I remember back in 2012 in the NCAA tournament, Ohio U opened up against Michigan. And so I think I texted Trey and said, who are you rooting for? Thinking he was going to say Michigan, but he said Ohio. I was like, that a boy.
That yeah. I don't know. I think like when you go, I don't know if you I mean, yeah, I think you picked a school. You have a good point, Scott. I think going to a place for however many years, 4 or longer, that you do have some literal vested interest in how they do and wanting them to do well. But will that erase a lifetime of fanhood of another
I don't
team?
know. I
Yeah.
mean, I
That's
didn't grow up. I wasn't a huge NCAA fan growing up. I mean,
Mhm.
so for me, I wasn't like I'm not a huge Ohio State Michigan for. I mean, I rooted casually growing up for Notre Dame, probably
Yeah.
not so much
Oh
anymore.
yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
That is a good
Not.
question though.
I
I
mean,
do like to.
I mean, it's just interesting.
Maybe that's it too. Yeah, like Lorenzo brings up a good point. Is like my earliest football memories are at U of M. Like
Yeah.
those are some of my earliest memories. Same thing with like the Browns. I remember going to a blizzard in Cleveland, throwing snowballs at the Chargers, like players. So that's real.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I think there's maybe something for at least for me. But I get your point. Like people do. They've told me that they're like that's so weird that you don't really you're not as passionate for Bowling Green. And I'm like I'm just not there. I guess I
I
don't know.
think when you're actually attending that school is probably when you're going to be the most passionate about their athletics.
Yeah, I don't.
Because
Maybe it was just
you're
Bowling Green
going
because I always just remember like, and you were there all the time, Lorenzo. Like there were so many people like that lived and breathed Ohio State,
it
like
was
that
little
went to
Ohio State.
Bowling Green. It was little Ohio State.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's what,
like,
OU was like the same thing. Like I think that's one of the
was
reasons
it okay?
I grew such a strong like affinity for OU athletics because I remember like getting like super pissed going to like an OU football game and everybody leave at halftime and go watch Ohio State, or you walk into the bookstore on Court Street and I was like, I want to go buy like an Ohio football jersey and they don't have any, but they have an Ohio State football jersey for sale. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Really?
Yeah,
That's
I don't remember
interesting.
BG bookstore having other schools.
They did not.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Maybe that's why they all went out of business though. Lost opportunity.
That and stolen items.
And
I know one person who would go in there regularly and steal items. So
it's 7 years. Supply names. Who was it?
I just someone we went to high school with would put go in the dress room and put clothes underneath the clothes they came in with and walk
This is
out.
very much an anti-snitch podcast, by the way, because I'm always trying to get names out of you guys, and you guys aren't giving names. So.
I did agree with you guys how you thought it was kind of like ironic that Jimmy would rat out the girl's name in the one story, but not the boys.
When she like drugged her parents.
Yeah, she like literally drugged your parents. Yeah, no problem sharing that information.
Oh
Nope.
my gosh.
0.
All right. Well, before we go, this is fast. This is fun. Do you guys have dad jokes?
I don't.
Oh, Scott. I even gave you a heads up, Scott.
What does a barber shop serve in the winter? Cold cuts.
No.
That's good. Want me to look one up real quick? I probably do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just
Dive
that's what happens
Head
a lot of
first.
times. That's what happens. I mean, yeah.
You're talking about snow, and I just Google search dad joke snow. That's
you're
all I
fitting.
did.
You're fitting right in. It's perfect.
I'll read the first one that popped into my search engine here.
All right.
I'm afraid for the calendar. Its days are numbered.
I think we've had
That's
that
a good
one.
one. I
is
think
very
we've
good.
used that one.
Yeah.
But it is a good one. It's classic.
Yeah, let me go to the
very
bottom.
classic.
You guys have probably all used like top
Yeah,
ones.
you gotta dig in a little.
Website.
Oh my.
All right. If you see a crime happen at an Apple store, what does it make you? An eyewitness.
Yeah,
Ah,
that's a good one. Yeah.
that's a good one. I like it.
All right. Well, our fan mail is going to drop by 50% since we have Scott B on the podcast. So,
I started getting the habit of doing show notes, listening to you guys when I'm on the bike in the morning.
I do like it. It was good.
Yeah, except for like I kind of got weirded out because I emailed the show
Yeah.
with my show notes. And then I wasn't positive that it was Lorenzo emailed me back.
Oh, really? Really?
Yeah, so I was like, because it didn't be like there was like it almost seemed like, is this Andrea emailing me back? Is Lorenzo's wife doing this? I mean, it didn't seem, so then I was like, did they hire somebody to screen these?
No. Now I want to go through and see what I wrote back. What did I
Funny,
say?
dude.
Thanks for the comment, especially the all your listeners. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, I don't know. It just
No,
threw me off.
it's
And I'm
100%.
watching Lorenzo email me back.
These podcasts cost me money, so it's 100% me.
I don't know. Maybe Andrew's helping you out. I don't know.
Nah. But in that same vein, if you do want to shout out to the podcast or have any comments or questions, it's 3differentdads@gmail.com. 3 spelled out, THREE. We're on Instagram, Twitter. Those are the number 3 different dads. Facebook
We're on
page.
MySpace, right?
No,
MySpace?
no, not
Oh.
you can create that if you want.
All right, I will.
We're everywhere. We're out there listening on. You can listen on pretty much anywhere. We are part of the Nerdball Network, along with the other great shows, the Nerdball Podcast, my other podcast, which I have. On this week, I had my chiropractor, Tyler Schwanz, and then the Perrysburg defensive coordinator and elementary school gym teacher, Mike Ward, which comes out tomorrow, Thursday. So keep listening. Please reach out to us. I do like the mailbag, so it adds more to the show. So and like I said last time, get us before we get super popular, because your comment is almost assured to be read. So as Scott can attest to that.
Yeah.
So,
I believe I sent 2 show notes and I only got commented on 1.
You did, because one was a little bit older, so I just went with the newer one. That's all.
That's probably why you skipped over my funny Matt Kriegel story.
Maybe.
About high noons.
Talk about the what?
You guys are talking about high noons and how much you love them. And
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, you're right. That is why I skipped over it. But we yeah. Real quick, so people know what we're talking about, Scott. Because we talked about, I think we probably talked about high noon several times on this podcast. But Scott did write in and said he was shopping once at the store, and Coach Kriegel came up behind him and said, "Tough decision, huh, Scott?" And I forgot you left that part, or I didn't read that part where he said he was wearing that "You Mad Bro" tank top that he wears. And you said you felt you needed to justify it, and he was just like, "Okay, right, yeah, it's for Lindsay." Oh yeah, and your top 3 blue things: Smurfs, Bluey, and water.
Yeah. See.
All right. Thanks guys for hopping on. Scott, thanks again for pinch hitting today. You fit right in. It was perfect. So appreciate that. And as always, thanks, George. This has been 3 different dads.
If there's nothing, that's a safe thing. In a house on fire, could you stay